And welcome everybody to Off the Hook Overtime, where hopefully we appear on YouTube and continue our conversation from Off the Hook. I seem to be here. Kyle, you're here as well?
Yes.
And great. Out there in Signalville, Signal Land, we've got Rob, we've got Gila, we've got Alex. You all there?
Yep. We're here.
Yes.
And are we actually on YouTube this week?
We are. Waiting for our delay to catch up, and there we are, and we sound good.
Well, Gila, you said we were on before Rob said we were on, so who do I believe?
Well, I have my YouTube on mute,
Okay, all right.
so I saw that we were on. Rob then checked the audio.
Wow. That whole Jimmy Kimmel story, I did not know about that before I sat down in the studio. That's how late breaking that story was. And I'm blown away. I mean, I hope we got all the details right. You know, late breaking stories, sometimes you don't get all the details right. But if what he said is what I'm seeing and he was kicked off the air for that, that is a low point. That's even lower than what they did to Colbert. Except hopefully it's not permanent, but wow. Any other thoughts people want to share on that?
There's been a lot, and the idea that anyone is saying anything about Charlie Kirk as a human being other than he was a shining paragon of humanity. I, on my personal Facebook page, posted some quotes of Charlie Kirk's. I'm not saying that I don't believe that he should have been murdered. I don't think anyone should be murdered. But I'm not, again, going to say, pretend, or allow other people to say that he was a shining paragon of humanity, because he wasn't. He was an angry, hateful person who believed that repeating the same information over and over and over again louder made him a good debater. And people are saying, oh, it's too soon to say anything like that. Bullshit. And that's also the other reason I waited until we were on overtime to say this part. Because I don't trust myself to keep an FCC compliant tongue in my head. It's the very quick movement to policing people's opinions. Not good. People who are losing their jobs behind saying anything other than the man was a saint. And, okay, sorry, I know you don't like it when I do this, but I would like to say good evening to the 37 people who are currently with us in the chat, including...
When did I say I don't like when you do that?
The person who is currently flirting with a ban by saying anyone bitching about Trump can move to another country, including Emmanuel and his minions. Your vaunted left heroes are no more righteous. Okay, number one, sir, you can't spell. That's not good. Number two, I don't know what left heroes you're talking about right now, but talk shit, get bit, my dude.
Hey, let people speak. I don't care. I don't, but is this all you got? I mean, it's not much of an argument. Shut up is basically your argument. How about you win the argument? How about you win the argument with facts and logic? And what Gila said about Charlie Kirk is mostly true. I happen to think he wasn't a bad debater. It's just what he was debating was garbage. But he did a better job than the people debating him because they weren't debaters, and that's how you appear to win an argument, by saying horrible things but having the debating skills. It's something that we shouldn't take debate on. But of course, do I have to say this every time? Nobody wants what happened to him to happen. Obviously not. And people who do that are horrible people. No question about that. The thing that really I think is most frightening here is the speed with which certain people were vilified when they had nothing to do with it, nothing at all. There are crazy people in every camp. It's just with leftists, I think they're mostly in the fringe, whereas on the right wing right now, it seems to be the people in charge. And that's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying because there doesn't seem to be a damn thing we can do about it. And I'm really getting sick of hearing how this is the greatest country on earth and democracy will prevail. Well, where the hell is it? When does democracy arrive on a horse and take us all to to freedom, back to freedom? I'd like to see that because every time I see another corporation cowering in fear, I see another politician afraid for his future. I see people who just don't want to say anything and just want to be left alone. I see a Supreme Court that basically does whatever Trump tells them to do. I don't see houses of Congress doing anything at all of substance. And all I hear about is how, we've got a democracy here. Vote somebody out. Well, we don't seem to be doing that. It doesn't seem to be happening. And I just wonder, is this the end? Is this where it all just cycles down into the drain and we try something else? Or I don't know. I'm off to a chipper start here tonight. But go ahead, Alex.
Well, it could be down the drain if we keep going down this route. And we seem to have a very clear pattern of political violence in this country right now. And that's extraordinarily terrifying because it really goes against the grain of what this country stands for and the ideals on which it was founded. And if you zoom out and think about what happened here, from a philosophical standpoint, I think it's important to note we don't know a hell of a lot about the motivation of the accused shooter, Tyler Robinson here. Apparently, even though he was raised in some kind of MAGA household, he seemed to have really taken issue with Charlie Kirk's views on LGBTQ issues and texted his partner about something like, I've had enough of his hatred, something like that. But even if that is the motivation, if it's some kind of difference of viewpoint and the accused shooter has in his mind, well, I'm doing humanity a service here because this person is spewing hate, he's spewing vitriol, he's out there hurting a huge community of people that are vulnerable and that deserve protection. And so therefore, I'm going to be doing humanity a service and take this guy out. That's basically, from a philosophical standpoint, justifying murder by promoting the greatest good for the greatest number here. We're trying to maximize pleasure and maximize happiness. This is a form of utilitarianism. This is what Jeremy Bentham wrote about. It's what John Stuart Mill wrote about. This is kind of quintessential British philosophy about maximizing happiness and numbers. And the problem philosophically always and everywhere with utilitarianism is that it has no respect for individual rights. And this country was founded on the principle of having individual rights. That's why we have the Bill of Rights. That's why we have the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment. All of these are individual rights that go against the grain of utilitarianism. We don't look at people as fungible. We don't look at people as threats. We see people that spew hatred. And like I said during the show, the answer to hatred is supposed to be more speech. If you don't like hate speech, then speak up more. Drown out the hate speech. We don't take violence as some kind of solution here to a political problem. That to me is what's un-American here. And that to me is what I think goes against every single philosophical ideal of the original founding fathers of this country.
Alex, just get us up to speed here. Hate speech, protected or not protected?
Well, it can be protected. I mean, there's limits to hate speech, though, when it becomes fighting words, things like that. But hate speech generally is protected.
So, okay, what is up with Pam Bondi saying that we are going after hate speech? It's not something they've ever done before. They've promoted a lot of hate speech in the past. But now, all of a sudden, hate speech is a thing for them that they're going after, and they seem to be defining it very broadly.
Well, they're basically trying to remap the contours of the First Amendment here. I mean, you go back to, God, what was the case? It was a law school case. I remember Brandenburg v. Ohio, I think it was, right? 1960s case. Basically, it said, hate speech is fine so long as you're not inciting or inciting a riot or promoting some kind of lawless action, right? So, that's basically the limit here. Like, if your speech is going to cause some kind of riot or cause some kind of violence or something like that, then it's not necessarily protected by the First Amendment, because it will have implications on other people's rights and freedoms and liberties and safety.
Mm-hmm.
But hate speech, think about the Ku Klux Klan walking through the streets of Skokie, Illinois, and being protected by the American Civil Liberties Union, because we're protecting ideals, we're protecting principles, not necessarily the principles for which the KKK was standing at that moment, but the principles to make that type of speech without any kind of repercussions. So what the Trump administration is trying to do in redefining the contours of hate speech to be way closer to free speech, that's dangerous.
What they seem to be defining hate speech as now is any speech that counters the lies that they're peddling, or the misassumptions, or the premature conclusions, because we've seen nothing but that since last Wednesday, where people have been held accountable who had nothing to do with anything, and if you say otherwise, all of a sudden you're the problem and you get disciplined, and it seems to be across the board now. Witness what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. It's I almost can't believe it. It just seems so just fictitious to me that something like this is that easy to pull off. I mean, we're better than that. Aren't we better than that? I think as a nation, we should be able to say, you can't say that without proof. You can't just accuse people of things that there is no connection with. And if you say, yeah, maybe something else is the case, not that, then you get fired for saying something offensive. Wow. It's just something that I'm having a lot of trouble with.
Yeah, it's time. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
Sorry. Do we want to move over to a recent happening that has nothing to do with any of this, and that I think will put us all in a far better mood?
Well, I guess that's the American way. Let's go do something else. Go ahead.
Well, this past Monday, September 15th, was the 30th anniversary, Emmanuel, of the release of the movie Hackers. It was...
when do I start feeling better? Tell me when I'm supposed to start feeling better.
Maybe you'll start feeling better when I tell you that this was being widely celebrated across the nerdy edges of the internet. The cheer and the love and the fandom around the film is always gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. And we posted on our Mastodon account that this happened, posted a link to the episode of this program from September 20th, 1995, which was right after the film was released. You were there, the rest of us weren't, but it was a long show. It was a 2-part show, a fundraising show, where you were talking about the movie a bit and your experience with your association with making it, and reactions to it. People were calling in with how much they liked it or didn't like it, and it was a fun listen. And you also played a bit of the writers panel from the very first Hope, which among other people had a few of the people behind the Hackers movie also speaking there. And so we posted that clip. A listener on Mastodon, known as Gnome, I think, mentioned that it was funny listening to the discussion of the Iraq War printer hoax. Do you remember this, Emmanuel?
I do vaguely recall something about a printer being hacked.
Yeah, it was a hoax, a virus hoax that happened in the 90s that stipulated that it was a wacky story put out by InfoWorld for April Fools. And it was surrounding the idea that somebody could have hidden a virus in a printer that was then sent to the military to do all sorts of shenanigans. And this person, Noam, mentions that they clearly thought that sabotaging the IT supply chain in order to inject malware into an otherwise secure network was wildly implausible. And yeah, everyone had a good laugh about that. But Noam continues, but now we know that this is absolutely something that's been done multiple times over the years, often to great effect. So yeah, what was a joke 30 years ago is now something that's actually exists and is, taken seriously. But also, there was a fun movie that came out 30 years ago.
Fun is one word for it. I am of the potentially controversial opinion in this universe that it's kind of a crappy movie, but so I would like to point out that, Rob, as soon as you mentioned the anniversary, the chat blew up and it was like, hack the planet, because obviously.
I could do the same thing with football. It doesn't prove anything. We still have serious issues.
We do have a question we have to answer, though.
Okay.
Did anyone check the live replay from last week and see if we did, in fact, get the chain of dashes?
Apparently, somebody's not checking our social media, because it was all over social media yesterday or the day before. And yes, we did. We absolutely did. So check 2600 on Mastodon, on Blue Sky, even on Twitter, and you will see some screenshots of what we were able to accomplish. What we were doing. Who wants to explain it? I've talked too much. Someone else explain it.
A whole lot of cussing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just brought up the screenshot that 2600 posted, and this is Gila reacting to that.
So yeah, we were attempting to see, because the automated captions that are created for a live broadcast such as this, we're not captioning our own stuff. YouTube auto captions in situations like this, and they do tend to censor in the auto captions when people say things like fuck or shit. Yeah. Or
so right
shit,
now,
shit,
when you see the transcript for this, you will see dashes instead of those words, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, we went through some of it. It was an hour and a half long, so we didn't go through the whole thing.
My experiment worked.
What was your experiment?
I was able to spell out a word.
That's right.
And it displayed it with spaces, but it had the same effect. You
spelled out a swear, and it just basically very slowly went across the screen and spelled it perfectly. But also, I think, Rob, you were quoting somebody, and the first word was the F word, and with the quote, it showed up. So I don't know how it knows when you're quoting somebody, but if your tone somehow makes it so that you're starting a sentence and you're quoting someone, you might be able to spell out the word. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes, words showed up when we thought they wouldn't. But in the end, when we all said the same cuss word 5 times each, we had a beautiful display of dashes in brackets across the screen, which you can see on any of our 2600 social media accounts, as we posted the picture of that. We had fun with that, but the censorship still exists. Google is doing this. I don't know why. They're puritanical, I suppose. They don't want people to see cuss words, but they have no trouble with people hearing cuss words. So I just think, if you're hearing challenged in any way, you should object to this, because you're not getting the full picture, and you deserve that. Right. Okay. Apparently I said something else profound.
As creators of stuff here, we should also be able to control that.
Yes. Wouldn't that be nice?
Instead of it, there's so many little buttons and sliders and checkboxes and things we can do easily. This should just be a part of something we can maintain. If you're involuntarily transcribing things, let us set the kind of tone we want for our own channel.
Yeah, I'm going to actually ask artificial intelligence how to fix this, how to change that setting, because I'm told that it's possible, but I'm also told that when you do make the setting, it doesn't work. So we can try this and see what actually happens.
If it's simple enough, but it should not be a bunch of wild steps and things. That's not what the everyday average user should be put through. But it is impressive, the sort of accuracy and the way it sort of updates as well, to transcribe what audio is in content and shows like this. So I've got the phone connected. Are we still interested in using it?
I'm reading what Gemini is telling me here.
Right
now I'm trying to figure out how to display more than one line at a time. So give me a second. Can't you guys have a conversation if I'm not talking?
Well, while we're talking about asking AI for info, I can mention an incident that happened at my day job today. And speaking in entirely general terms, somebody had contacted me at work asking for a piece of information that my workplace does not have and does not provide. And so naturally, I gave them the information on where to go get this info and said, they said, "Oh, but I was told that you would have it." And I was interested. I'm like, well, if there's some instruction somewhere that's giving erroneous info, I'd like to know about it. Can you let me know where you found the information that you need to contact me for the information you're looking for? And this person sent me a screenshot of Google's AI overview, which sure enough had directed them to contact my office about the thing they were looking for. And I had to explain to that person that the AI overview is not info that's put there by people. It is robots guessing, and it is not a source of reliable information. So, this was a non-technical person who did not realize that the new section on top of Google was not just more search results. It was, in fact, robots guessing at something that is vaguely shaped like info. Cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
You can tell it again.
I did go back and look at my experiments. So here's something fun, because I was like, is it 5 quick shits or 1 long shit? And shits got through. Shit did not.
Huh. What do you mean it did not?
It got blanked.
The big shit got blanked,
The
and the
big
small
shit got
shits
blanked.
went
Shits
through.
gets through.
Shits
You mean
plural.
plural?
Shits
Okay, yeah.
So
Yes.
now I'm gonna have to come back and look at this one and see if it writes out shits plural, or maybe shits the verb.
Or, is the fact that I just said shit enough to... I love the experimentation we're doing here.
This is ongoing now.
Well,
is for
I don't, because I'm following Gemini's instructions on how to modify the channel to allow swear words. And, it's telling me click on channel under settings, and there's no channel under settings. It's the same thing every damn time. They tell you to go to a place that doesn't exist or that's been changed, and it just drives you crazy. And to do that while doing a show is
That's
almost
what
impossible.
I meant.
What?
No, that's what I was talking about. Because there's like different versions of different types of dashboards or whatever kind of interface you're using. Invariably, they've like changed one aspect of it, and then you're gonna reference something, and then you have to go and like track down how old that information is, or what level of their application development they were at when that advice was like valid. It just takes you on a crazy goose chase.
It just took me off the page, too. So if we got disconnected, let me know. But hopefully we didn't.
You're here.
I don't know if I am, but I think we're okay. But I'm not going to do this during the show. It's too crazy. Okay, so we can take phone calls if you want to do that. But first, let's check the phone to make sure it's okay. All right, hit a button quickly, Kyle. Thank you. Oh, that's a perfect phone line. That sounds beautiful.
Okay, but nope. Nobody breathe. Nobody do.
I'm not touching anything. I might. Let me bring it up a little louder. Just let's try this one more time.
Gosh, you know you're
No,
tempting.
go ahead, dial tone. And touchtone. Does anybody have any complaints about the quality of this phone line?
The number you have dialed has not been recognized.
I wasn't talking to you.
Please try again.
Just hang her up. Okay. All right. Well, then I think
she sounded very good. Like,
so, okay. Again, what Kyle said, don't breathe. You guys in Signal Land, you don't breathe either, even though you think you're safe from affecting the equipment here. You're not. It definitely will cause issues.
This is the kind of success that makes me not want to like go ponder disconnecting and like moving a cable and trying to troubleshoot, because invariably that just makes it worse.
It does.
And then we get stuck in this place. I want to get into it.
Damn it.
It's messing with my emotions.
I hate today's computers where you touch something just a little bit and all kinds of windows open up and it assumes it knows what you're doing when you're not trying to do that in the first place. And now
hang on.
Windows open. God damn it.
Were we supposed to have heard a dial tone?
Yes. You didn't hear a dial tone?
I'm only fucking with you.
Turn him down for now. We'll see if we can get back to him later. All right. So, all right. Our phone number. Get ready. Our phone number is, and it's not working until I finish the last digit. Okay. Not till I finish the last digit. So you can dial if you want, but you're not going to get anywhere. 802 321 4 2 2 5. All right, it's been activated. 802-321-4225.
3.
Boy, that was
2.
quick. That was quick. Let's take this phone call. Good
1.
evening. Good evening. You are on Off the Hook Overtime. Go ahead. And, yes, please turn down whatever the hell you're listening to us on. Yeah, this sounds like Rebel.
Yes, of course.
Rebel, can you just be quiet for a second, and everybody else be quiet for a second? That's beautiful. There's no hum. There is no hum. If you say
there's no hum.
If you say
No,
there's a
I don't
hum,
know.
Rebel, we're going to have
hear
issues.
anything.
We're going
You're
to
a little
okay.
low, but I don't hear anything.
Well, you're going to have to deal with me being a little low because I can get lower. What's on your mind?
Burp, is that going to be like censored?
I heard that. What are you doing? What is on your mind, caller?
The self-censorship, man. So, yeah, what is on your mind?
Feel free to.
I've been interested in how computer networks work, and I'm talking about the old style, like the from the 1980s, like mid 80s, late 80s, up to like the mid 90s or late 90s. I really noticed that there are like mini computers and like mainframes, and like people who only have like maybe 5 or 6 terminals or 10 terminals have mini computers. How did it work? Like in our college in the early 90s, we had a VAX VMS mainframe with like maybe 30 or 40 terminals. They were able to send email. I would be able to send email from the outside, and we had email internally where we put username at mvcc.edu or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But you could also put. You could also do that from the outside. How did that work? I mean, we would also be able to do Telnet and Telnet and FTP. This was in the early 90s. How did that work? Did that work on like ports or something, or gateways?
Well, I don't know the specifics as to how exactly it worked, but similar to how it worked now as far as transferring data from system to system. TCP/IP and just basically. Connecting and transferring data, whether it's FTP, whether it's mail, whether it's some kind of talk protocol that you might have used back then, which used to work all the time, which was great. But back before that, bulletin boards would exchange mail once a day with UUCP and FidoNet and all that. They would basically slowly get messages across, and it was magical. It was magical when you got an email from somebody on a distant system someplace. It really seemed to mean something, kind of like getting a letter in the mail used to mean something. And now, of course, we take it all for granted.
Well, there was a UUCP account, though, back then. Right.
You would have a UUCP account. I used to have one. I can't remember how it worked exactly, but you would be able to, if you use the right protocol, the right syntax, rather, you would be able to send mail to somebody on a different system. Might take a day or two to get to them, but it would work, and you're saving a postage stamp.
How did the leased lines work? Like if one mainframe, like if the terminals, let's say Blockbuster Video, I'm just going to give them as an example. They use Digital Equipment Corporation terminals. And there's offices throughout the country, wherever their main office was or data center was, they used leased lines, because this is in the 90s. They used leased lines for data or communications. How did that work? I mean,
pretty much the same as our always-on connection works now, except they paid a lot of money for it. It wasn't as fast. It was, as the name suggests, leased only for them. And, they never had to dial up. They could just connect at all times. But boy, was that expensive. And in terms of today, was not that fast.
And now how does it work? Like let's say their mainframe connect with another mainframe? Let's say a car rental agency, like whatever, Avis, Hertz, whatever.
Uh-huh.
They have a mainframe in their, let's say wherever there is, and their agents, their location throughout the country, they, connect with the mainframe to get your reservation and all that. But can their mainframe talk to another mainframe? Like say they wanted to check a driver's license to make sure that your driver's license isn't suspended. Can they go and do an application on their system to check with the motor vehicle bureaus in that state?
If you're are you asking for today or for back in the 90s?
Yes, I'm talking about the like the 80s, the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think it was that straightforward. I don't think it was that simple. I think they had to, send in something and wait for a response. I don't think they had any kind of access to DMV records. They might have made a phone call. People used to do all kinds of things that we would never recognize today. I remember people who worked in retail stores to validate a credit card. They would call a number. They would read the credit card number. They would get a number back, which was the authorization code. They would input that number. I think they'd say another number back to them. They would have entire conversations of nothing but numbers with complete strangers. And that's how credit card verification used to work. That's before you would actually scan a credit card or even roll it in the carbon paper thing, which is another whole adventure.
I mentioned that the early 90s, like the mid 90s, when, let's say, the airline would, you buy a ticket and you would, they would swipe your credit card at their, terminal. I'm talking about computer terminal, not credit card terminal. And that computer terminal, the mainframe or wherever the data center was, would that system talk to the Visa system or the American Express system or whoever,
That's a different. That's a little bit different. See that's as it's grown. The eras there may have been services that those credit card processing organizations would offer institutions that were doing high rates of sale through travel agencies and however they were doing that. They're doing a lot of transactions, so they may have had those similar things. Maybe not a leased lined per se, but because a lot of things were becoming networked, they may have had services that were sort of ready-made for interoperating or integrating with their ticket sales system for the airline. But it was really started with institutions that were already setting up these kinds of mainframes and local systems to connect over those kinds of lines, creating the sort of network you're talking about. Early on, it made a little bit more sense for academic institutions, but like you pointed out, some business models were made around this kind of thing, and you would get data lines and things like even ISDN eventually. Those types of connections were ideal. They were like kind of conceived to have people build these kind of remote locations to access their bigger data center, like you said, or other sorts of computer systems from afar, so they could expand and grow their business.
I have a question. We have our fiber optic lines now, right? Some people, I imagine, have copper still. They still use copper phone lines, and that's fine. There are people out there who are perhaps using DSL. Is anyone still using ISDN anywhere? Is there an ISDN connection? I would like to know if anyone out in the entire planet has an ISDN connection.
I have no idea. Probably not. But the same thing.
Well, that's sad.
But it could still be employed in some way somewhere in the world, along with other. There are many other types of service that were offered that were sort of created around an environment where we didn't have the always on sort of internet, and they were eventually very quickly supplanted because it didn't make sense. As broadband emerged, there's just already a sort of connection. In some cases, though, you'd want that direct connection or private line. There's a lot of scenarios, so that those services still existed. T1s I know are used in radio stations, were in the past. That's been supplanted by things like.
Is T1 a leased line?
It's a sort of yeah,
definitely.
So that's the way radio stations. It's like a leased line from the radio station to the antenna.
Either that or a microwave relay. Either one of those.
Private circuits. Any institution or business that needs something that's dedicated. In other words, that has a very high uptime, and wouldn't be subject to like a service outage for the public telephone, like you could experience in the public telephone network. So they would offer those as different classes of service. And before the internet, that was a desirable thing to offer because people were starting to set up these terminals and mainframes like you're saying, and they would need to connect them because we are geographically disparate in how we're organized, and especially with businesses and, of course, academic institutions.
I want to have an ISDN connection. There, I said it. I can find ISDN modem.
What about banks? Like when you go, like,
No
if you have a
one's-
Chase card and you go to Citibank, this is
No one's
talking about
listening
in
to
the
me.
80s and the 90s. If you had a Chase card and you went to Citibank, that would be like the NICE system or the PLUS system or whatever.
Nice,
That would
NYSE, yes.
use dial-up.
Yeah, we don't know how these things. You know what? Why don't you ask artificial intelligence? They might know.
It's all changed. Like it's continuously changed over the emergence and as different technologies emerge. So you got to point to a specific era, and yeah, an informed system or some historical reference. You could probably find the exact type of connections they were employing around their business models, but you have to sort of interrogate something that really knows the specifics of the era.
So it wasn't a dial-up
you're-
connection, like the Citibank wouldn't dial into the NICE network and send the information that way?
Maybe early on, but it's bound to have transformed maybe several different times as they've evolved, and now, of course, it's probably done online. Does that answer your question?
No, how does...
It'll never answer
Yeah,
his
it does
question.
answer my...
He's always going to have more
it does answer the
questions.
question. What?
Well, I'm just saying, you're always going to have more questions. And Gila,
Oh, yeah, of
Gila
course.
right now
Oh, yeah.
has a point she's going to make. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but let's find out. Go ahead.
Okay, Tim in Connecticut points out the following. Yes, Frontier still offers DSL internet service, although its availability is limited and the company is actively expanding its fiber network. And a listener had a question for Rebel. Dory asks, is he asking about hardline, token ring, or twisted pair routing?
All right, Rebel, did you hear that?
I did not hear Gila at all.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Somebody is asking you. You're probably on the chat, so you probably could even see this. Someone's asking if it's token ring. Can you feed me the words, Gila? Token ring. What else?
Absolutely. It was, thank you, Rob, hardline, token ring, or twisted pair routing.
Hardline, token ring, or twisted pair routing. Rebel.
Okay. All right. So.
Okay, if you're just going to ignore what I
also,
say, we're asking you a question here.
Okay. What was it?
Oh, for God's sake. Twisted pair, token ring. What was the third one?
Hardline.
Hardline. Which one? Okay, well, study that, I guess. Look into that.
There was token. Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying there was lease lines from like the location to a distant location. But how did that distant location data center communicate with another data center somewhere else? That's the question.
Yeah, well, we don't have all the answers, and we don't know this either. So,
Well, through
Magic.
other
Magic.
types of connections, of course, but especially before the internet. And as E described, there were a lot of solutions prior to the wider public internet that people used to do sort of batches and store and I don't know, what is it, store and forward, or like lots of like offline schemes. And yeah, I mean, this is a long time ago. This is there's a lot of different ways people were set up because they were on their own. They really had to come up with their own kinds of connections. It's one thing to physically set it up at your business or on a campus of some kind, but then to expand, it was a big deal. And what was available was of those kinds of physical connections, you had classes of service and carriers that you had to deal with to support those connections.
I got some happy news from artificial intelligence here. ISDN connections still exist, but their use is very limited, and they are being phased out globally or are largely replaced by faster broadband technologies like DSL and fiber. Some industries and specific use cases still rely on them. I want to know who those industries and specific use cases are. So please, if you know of one, please let me know. Yeah, ISDN is still in use for certain niche applications where its specific characteristics, such as a dedicated, reliable, and secure connection, which apparently nobody else offers, are valued over high speed. Okay, broadcast, voiceover, radio stations, and we don't have it, that's for sure. backup systems, older infrastructure, remote locations. Okay, my curiosity has been satisfied. Rebel, do you have any final words?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how does 2600.com work? Do you have you have a server somewhere and it's your own thing? You don't use like a cloud service like Amazon Web Service, right? You have your own thing, right?
Yeah, we do. And the 28.8 still works fine. There's no reason to get anything faster. We just read email occasionally, and everything, of course, is printed. So it worked in 1984. Why shouldn't it work now? Actually, no, we didn't have that in 1984. We upgraded a few years after that. But 28.8 is a good speed. I don't see a reason to go faster than that. Thanks for your call, Rebel. You've given us a lot to think about, and it's always nice to take a trip down memory lane. Now we just have to try and get back here. But thank you for your call. 802-3214-225. Yeah, let's try to keep it brief because there are other people out there, lots of other people. And
well, some callers just have an insatiable technical curiosity.
They do, and that's good. That's good.
It's good. It's a challenge. I think we're up for it. Everybody had great insights into this. So I'm ready for the next call as soon as it comes through.
Yes, 802-3214-225. Gila, go ahead.
I do have something that may, something about Nexstar.
Please.
Nexstar is attempting to lobby the FCC right now to change the rules on how many stations in a particular network, in a particular market, one company can own.
Okay.
So
what?
in the same...
Wait a minute. They want more or less?
More. They're trying to take over another network group.
Is this the best time? I mean, considering that that supposedly they're scared of this guy, Brendan Carr, they're going to ask him for a favor now?
Which would explain why they're bending the knee to him. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So they think by sacrificing Kimmel, he might give the... God, these people are so shameless.
PBS sacrificed Colbert to get their merger.
It's just business. It's just business.
No, it's not just business. It's corrupt bullshit is what it is. Wow. Just wow. Is there a network out there, any network that has integrity? Any broadcasting, any TV network, anything? You know, I would have said Vice a few years ago, but that's not true. Sorry?
Have you heard of Pacifica?
No, we're talking about TV. We're talking about television.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Well, then PBS, which has just been kneecapped. So, yeah.
I mean, I can say a lot of things about PBS, but they do not deserve what has happened to them. Absolutely not. By the way, speaking of PBS, there's a great documentary out there that I heartily recommend people see. It's called WZZQ, the documentary or the movie. Yes, WZZQ, the movie. It's about this this radio station in Jackson, Mississippi in the 1970s and 80s that was a freeform rock and roll station. And it's a 1-hour documentary. It's told in just such an amazing style and all kinds of footage. And if you like radio, if you appreciate radio, I think you will really like this film. We saw it on an over-the-air TV station from Connecticut, actually.
Yeah, we've been messing with our setup. We might get a better antenna. Like we're pretty proud of our little connection to the airwaves, but we don't love digital TV.
I do like the fact that we're able to get a TV station from Connecticut and watch PBS there. It's not carried anywhere else. But I'm very upset at what digital TV did to television broadcasting because, back in the day, you could turn on a TV and watch New York City. You could watch, Hartford, Connecticut from Long Island. Here, you can't even get 20 miles down the road. It has to be near you or you're out of luck. And that has just cut down on so much that people who don't have cable or satellite could have access to. Yeah, you can get 10 channels or something per channel, but that's usually just shop-at-home crap or something else that you're never going to look at. Whereas in the past, the whole world was out there. You could do what's known as DXing, which is listening to faraway radio or TV stations. You can still do that on AM. If you tune on your AM dial, you'll be able to get distant stations after sunset. But you used to be able to do that on television as well. And now, if I had over-the-air TV when the cutover was happening from analog to digital back in 2009, I would have realized that I was saying goodbye to so many TV stations and never going to be able to pick up their signal again. And that supposedly is an improvement. It doesn't work if it's raining. Doesn't work if you're, if a bird flies somewhere near your antenna. You have to be close by. It's awful. It is terrible. The old system was much better. Sure, the picture wasn't perfect, but I don't think many people are going for the perfect picture. They want the coverage. Rob.
Well, I just looked it up, and the site for WZZQ the movie is wzzqthemovie.com, and right on the top of that page is a link to watch the documentary for free on PBS's site. So I will be checking this out.
Cool. Hey, is there still a caller on the line, or am I?
I think there might be. And right now you're taking up his space, Alex. So
Yeah.
why don't you shut up for a second so we can talk to the caller? Is that okay with you? Thank you.
Sure.
Caller, I'm sorry for Alex. Good evening. You're on the air. Go ahead. You're on overtime. Go ahead.
By the way, Gila and I can hear you. I can hear Alex. Gila is sort of, I hear part of what she says. And
well, Gail, you're kind of far from the microphone. You're coming in a little low. If you could be closer, that would be good. You want to say something loud now?
Something loud.
Okay, well, that's not too loud.
That I heard.
Okay, so you just need to speak a little louder. And
Okay.
probably you too, Rob, because you're both kind of far from the mic.
Well, they're
Well,
sharing.
okay then.
They're sharing one mic. I know
They're
that's part of the
sharing.
problem because when you have your own mic, you're louder. That's how it works. Thank you, caller, for pointing that out. What's on your mind?
Alex was talking about utilitarian position where you would justify murder to achieve the greater good, and
Yes, earlier.
and he was talking about people who wrote about that. One of the people who wrote about that was Isaac Asimov. In his book I, Robot, there's a story where a robot balances not letting harm come to human beings, which is in the first law, versus not causing harm to a human being, which is also in the first law.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up killing people in order to keep them from killing other people. That's an iRobot.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so is that a question or is that just a clarification?
Well, I read it a long time ago, but I remember that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I suggest everybody read iRobot and,
Are you saying that this applies and that maybe subconsciously that's the kind of thing that we're experiencing, that people are trying to do, that it's taken on a form of a certain form of vigilantism or something?
Well, I'm not saying that vigilantism is happening that way, but I did notice the relevance of iRobot to the principles that Alex was discussing.
okay.
Yeah,
Alex,
I think-
I don't know if you can be heard, but say something. And
Yeah, I think you're totally right, and I think it's a really astute observation because Asimov, I think you could probably frame a lot of his writing as kind of utilitarian writing because he had this kind of theme about the idea of sacrificing a few people for the greater good of humanity, and was always writing about kind of the greater good of humanity and the future in that respect. And so I think he had, maybe just by the very nature of the subject matter, utilitarian subjects that would arise. So yeah, very cool of you to point that out, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. By the way, also on the Off the Hook itself, people were saying, including Emmanuel, that it's harder now to run your own email server. Why is that?
well, it's harder because it's gotten more complex with the kinds of email that are being sent, the amount of data that's passing through. And, there's also a bunch of standards that you have to meet as far as how you pass mail back and forth. It's just you need a system administrator, somebody who's familiar with the ins and outs of a particular operating system and a mail client and server and all that. So it's dedication, and it's, you can't expect everybody to know how to do this. But I think what would be good is if we had bands of people who kind of collaborated a couple of which knew the ins and outs of how to configure a system, and then accounts were offered to a bunch of people. And it's not Google, it's not Yahoo, it's not even Proton Mail. It's something independent, kind of like what Mastodon does now, but only for email. I would like to see more of that happen. It's complex. It really is, a lot to expect people to do. It used to be a lot easier. It used to be something that everybody did when they installed their latest Linux version. But we can't really expect people to do that these days on their own.
Can people develop software tools that will make it easier to do this sort of thing?
I can't answer that myself. I would hope so. I would hope there is a movement out there to do this. I think that is definitely the hope of the future. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
You can have a hope conference called "The Hope of the Future."
Oh, write that down out there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hope of the future. I like that.
I like that.
But what happens when it arrives? Yeah, it's not the future anymore. Do we rename it?
You were once saying you wonder what will happen when there are people on Mars going to conferences. Then it won't be just hackers on planet Earth, and you ruin the acronym.
Yeah, we screwed that up. I know. We weren't thinking ahead. we're out of luck when Mars starts being used, and in fact, any planet, any other. Oh boy, it was stupid, wasn't it?
Well, but we're also being very specific, right?
Yeah, but we're limited to Earth. What if Earth is a burnt out cinder, and that's probably going to happen? We can't just go to Neptune or Alpha Centauri or something because we don't have the name.
Well, I also heard that it's a lot harder to terraform any other planet than it is to terraform Earth itself if something goes wrong, and even that is extremely difficult.
It's a challenge,
The easiest thing to do is to protect it.
Yeah. There's all kinds of different thoughts on this.
Yeah.
And I guess we're going to leave it there. But where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Bronx.
The Bronx. Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. 802-321-4225. And I think we proved there that callers can hear you guys. You just have to speak up. So speak up and they'll probably hear you, except Rebel, who's always going to give us trouble. Yes, Rob.
Well, for folks interested in starting to run their own mail server, there was actually a really good book that I read recently that goes really deep into the nuts and bolts of it and lays out all the stuff you would have to do. It's by an author called Michael W. Lucas, and it's called Run Your Own Mail Server. And it's just what it sounds like. It's not for the technically completely inept, but it does break things down in an easy to read way for folks who are technically inclined, who are interested in it.
Some ineptitude is welcome. So that's what's the name of the book again?
Run Your Own Mail Server by Michael W. Lucas.
Wow. I just want to read a letter from a listener based on our discussion last week about M-dashes. Greetings to the Off the Hook people. To make generating a character like the M-dash in Windows work, the digits typed while holding the Alt key must be on the numeric keypad, Alex. Have the numlock on so the numbers on the keypad will be available. To type an M- with this system, turn on or leave on the numlock, then hold down Alt while typing 0151 on the numeric keypad, then let go of Alt. Or just type a damn hyphen. That's what's right there on the keypad. Keyboards without a numeric keypad will generally have a technique for using part of the keyboard as a numeric keypad. So if that wasn't enough for you, you can apparently map out part of your regular keyboard to be a numeric keyboard as well, and jump through even more hoops. Word processors may be set to convert 2 consecutive hyphens into a dash. That one makes more sense than anything anyone has said so far. So 2 dashes together turns into an M-dash. Now that's nice.
That's what I do.
But that's only in certain word processors. It's not everywhere. So that's the big problem. And of course, on a Mac, hold down the Option and Shift keys and type a hyphen. All right.
Okay, hang on. I have 2 questions.
Yes, you're very low again.
I was kind of slid over. Okay. Number 1, are there people who don't always have numlock on? I always have the number lock on. I love using the 10 keypad. Thank you, Mavis Beacon. I always have number lock on. Am I alone?
Well, what happens when you don't have it on?
That I can't type numbers on the little keypad.
Other than that, I mean, is there a use for it not being on and having a numeric keypad?
No.
Okay.
Okay. That was question number 1. Question number 2 was, if everybody's talking about the M dash being a recent phenomenon or overuse of the M dash, are we forgetting about Emily Dickinson? Every time Emily Dickinson couldn't think of a word, she just threw in an M dash and people thought it was profound.
Wow. And what year was that?
In the 1800s, I don't.
They had M dashes in the 1800s?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to go to a blacksmith to get them.
No, is that a key on a typewriter?
No, it's 2 dashes. Because like an N dash is the width of an N.
Okay.
And an M dash is the width of an M.
So what, you're saying
So
an N dash is simply a dash and an M dash is 2 dashes?
That's correct.
Well, then why isn't a hyphen an N dash?
It is.
No,
A
it's not.
hyphen is an N dash in my
No,
mind.
it's
Yeah.
not.
No?
I deal with this all the time. Hyphen is tiny. N dash is a little bit wider. M dash is much wider.
They're all glyphs.
Today I learned.
Yeah. All right. Somebody lost patience, hung up, and I think someone else is calling back. So let's pick up this phone call and say, good evening. You are on Off the Hook Overtime. Go ahead.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Couple of things. In the good old days, Optimum used to have rent ISD lines from the phone company and use that to connect people digitally to their phone system. I don't know if you remember that back in the 80s and the 90s.
You're saying Optimum?
Optimum on Long Island gave what they call, I think it was called PAF something, PAF, telepath or whatever it was called.
Uh-huh.
And what it was is if you had a business and you wanted a cheaper telephone service, they would use either a DSL or a C1 line from your office and send that over to their mainframe.
Interesting.
digitally.
Wow. Well, it's probably called Cablevision back then.
Yeah, Cablevision, but LightPath. I think it was called
LightPath. Yeah, no, I remember the name LightPath. I'd never used it, but
Sorry,
okay.
it took me a while to think of
yeah.
come
Okay.
up with it.
Well, that's
Going back into the memories. But I want to give you some more historical stuff, guys.
Go ahead.
American Express.
Yes.
When American Express would use RF, they would take, they built special keypads into a radio, and they would key in the credit card number, and they did this for the tennis over at Forest Hills, and then they linked it to a building, and they sent it all over RF. And if you were clever enough, you could listen in on a repeater system and decode their information. They were basically they were using a modem. So that's how they were doing portable credit card entry.
Wow.
They had a terminal that was connected. It was in the old days. And we had a business. I had a business. And we had a dial-up for a credit card. You had a machine. You could swipe the card or you could key in the information. And when you did that, this thing would immediately grab a phone line, touch tone dial, and then use 1200 baud.
Yeah, the Verifone systems are similar to that, and they're ubiquitous when I was much younger. I've actually got one that I took apart, and it uses Zilog. I can't remember exactly what chips are in it, but it's fascinating what they were doing with these terminals back before a lot of that stuff was going over wireless or the internet.
Yeah, look. You had stuff like MCI. Everything was done brute force, workarounds. Some of that is more reliable today. I'd rather have an old telephone line than have some of this new digital stuff because, hey, if things go down, you're going to be in trouble.
That's right.
I remember as a kid in 1965, I was 10 years old and we had the blackout so the phone still worked. And all of your telephone COs had at least 5 days of fuel in their generators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
And
smart
everything-
setup. That's how you should do it. Because, things will fall apart at some point, whether through a natural disaster or a man-made calamity. It's, you've already invented the technology that can help you survive and sustain whatever it is that you're doing. Why give that up just because something is faster? You can have both.
Well, the reason why it's happening is because the phone company doesn't want to. The phone company or the local operating companies that were around, and now what you got here is Verizon, they don't want to go out and maintain the old copper. They figure it's easy to do fiber because they can put a lot more circuits on instead of having to worry about 48 pair or 128 pair of phone lines, or worry about water getting in.
Okay,
into
well
the
then,
cable.
here's my suggestion. Back in the day, way back in the day, when phones were just becoming a thing, there would be one phone in the neighborhood. It would be like at the general store or something, and people would go down to the general store to make their phone call. Now everyone has cell phones. They don't need phones in their home anymore. I suggest we go back to that system, put a phone in the general store, whatever store you want to call the general store, and people can walk down there again when their cell phones stop working and use the reliable phone that is still there.
Oh, I will agree with. I will absolutely agree with you. Look, you guys talk about digital TV.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the old MTSB, the analog system, because the digital system is so crummy because of the error rate. All you got to do is put your hand near an antenna and you lose the signal. Okay.
Crazy, yeah, it's awful.
And they did get better, but you know what it is? It's also like what happened on 9/11 when some of the fire people died because of their communications and because they were going digital. Even back then, you got companies, like Motorola, who were able to get the government to force everybody to go digital. New York City's been fighting it. They don't want to go digital. They are going digital.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the NYPD, that stuff was built back in the 70s and the 60s, and it worked great.
Yeah.
But now, you can't listen to the police, so it's no longer open. It's no longer out there in the sun. You don't know what your police are doing anymore.
Yeah, there's no accountability at all, and it's all encrypted and private, and that's not the way it was designed.
Yeah, look, I as a ham and as a hacker and a hobbyist, I like to listen to the old police stuff.
Of course.
But I will tell you that there was a couple big things. Like, remember that shooting out in Vegas where the guy shot up a bunch of people?
Yep.
If you talk to the police out there, because it was known in the radio community that they were having problems when guys would be running and yelling into their radios. The digital system had problems with the artifacts. The digital to audio conversion was really crummy. And another thing with the digital systems, you don't get the situational awareness because you can't hear all the noises, the people in the background. They're finding out that there's a lot of issues with all this digital stuff.
Yeah, it's incredible how short-sighted people can be.
Just
People
by the
making
way,
decisions.
I just want to tell you that your audio level, listening to you guys, when I'm listening to you on my iPhone, listening to the YouTube, some of you guys have low audio. You need to raise the level a little bit, the outgoing level.
Yeah, I think we're doing that in Signal Land. Certainly, we're raising the audio level, but hopefully I sound okay.
Some
Hopefully
of you,
Kyle sounds okay.
Really sound loud,
Right.
but some of you are so low that I have to train to listen to it.
Or maybe we can have some kind of compression that will boost signals. We'll figure this out, but we're starting
a
to.
bit of ALC. You don't want too much ALC when I'm at a level control.
Right.
But some of you guys are so low that you're up against the noise floor.
Right. Well, that's good advice, and we are working on. At least we got rid of the hum. There's no hum right now, so I'm happy about
you
that.
got no hum today.
Yeah.
Your hum is down at least 60, 70 dB.
That's good.
It's way down there.
Uh-huh.
It's in the noise. So you got rid of your ground loop. Now you just got to bring up the level without going anything up.
Okay, we will get there. We're on the way.
Thanks for listening.
I'm going to let you go.
Yeah,
Listen, I wish you guys would talk more about the technical stuff than the politics. I understand where things are going, and believe me, as a ham operator, you got to be careful what you're saying now, because if you have a repeater or anything like that, the FCC can come after you, and they are going after people for what they're saying right now.
And think about that statement. You know, that's not the America I know. Well,
you know what? You know what? I am conservative, but I also say you got to have the right to free speech.
On that we can agree.
You got to have the right to express yourself. Right. But they got so far. I mean, you know, I didn't even know who this guy really was. Mm-hmm. But you know.
Yeah, that's the point. Nobody does. So that's why nobody should be pointing fingers.
But this is wrong. The FCC has no right. Mm-hmm. Even though I agree with what they do, I don't agree with the FCC doing this.
No, that's not their job.
The FCC should stay out of it. This is a free speech issue. The FCC, yes, what they're trying to do, and by the way, the way the broadcast industry got is what's causing this. You now have major broadcast centers where you have 20, 30, 40, 60 guys sitting in little cubes, you know, doing the shows, and they just send it out by the internet or satellite to all of these, you know, communications, to these transmitting sites, to the radio stations. And what's so sad is that it's so cheap for them. Okay, they go out to, let's say, Timbuktu, Ohio, or wherever, and say to a radio operator, you know, a radio station owner, hey, we'll give you $1 million. Then they fire everybody, and they just run the transmitter remotely and just send a feed. So everything self-hydrogenized. If you go across the AM broadcast band, I don't care if you're listening to WWL or
New Orleans,
WHAM up in Rochester, it all sounds the same.
It does, and a lot of times it's the same program, just being repeated everywhere.
Right, you hear coast to coast or whatever it is. In the old days, you can listen to a station and get the flavor or the personality of that community.
Like WCBS. Remember? I'm still mourning the loss of WCBS.
Oh, I am too. CBS started in 1967. I remember when they started, I was 13 years old, and they had a show on where they would sell used equipment. They had a swapper shop.
Oh, wow.
They had different things. You really don't have creativity anymore. You used to have people selling things. They have a 1-hour show on this or this or this. Then it went all news. I mean, look at what they did. Now it's the same crap.
Yeah.
Go to 1050 or 880. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know,
I mean, I don't have a problem with sports. Look, CBS had the Mets on. You know, they did the Mets or maybe one other football. But now it's all sports.
All sports, and there's so many all sports stations in New York City now. We didn't need that. And if they were gonna go with just one all news outlet, they should have kept 880 and gotten rid of 1010 because the signal is much better.
Oh, of course they should have. They should have got rid. 880 was a much better. Yeah, 880. I remember being in Europe and having a Sony 2010. I don't know if you know what that was, a Sony receiver.
Okay.
And I could hear 880 in Greece.
That's incredible. Yeah, I think you've mentioned that before, and that's just amazing that you could do that.
Oh, sure. 880 has a hell of a signal. Also 770.
Yes.
But, you know, it's all the same stuff. You listen to 710, 770. It's all, you know.
Hey, let me ask you this. Did you ever, when 710, WOR, did you ever listen to Bob and Ray in the old days?
Yes. You know who else I used to listen to? I love?
Gene Shepard.
K2ORS, Gene Shepard.
Yep, I knew it.
I remember, look, it is 60, 68, 69. I was 14 years old. You had Bernard Meltzer, if you remember him, on 770.
Okay, I don't remember him.
Well, talk show.
Okay.
But you had Gene Shepard. I love Gene Shepard with the story. You have no more creativity. You know, yes, what's happening is that these people can't compete. And now they want to get rid of AM radio in the cars. No,
that's ridiculous. And I don't think that's going to win. I think that's actually, we were able to save it for now.
Here's the big problem. the manufacturers are finding it hard to make it work. If you
Yeah,
have an
electric cars. I know
car-
they interfere, but that's a problem with the car, not with the radio.
Right, but they have to design, a car manufacturer has to design that radio into the car and make it work. I agree. You shouldn't, I understand why manufacturers want to get rid of it because they can't make it work. They don't want to put the antenna in the window, and there's too much noise now. If you go out on the street with a pocket AM radio, it's so noisy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can only hear a couple of stations because you need a strong signal to overcome all the man-made noise and all the electrical.
That's true. Yeah, electric lights and things like that. It is difficult, but well worth
Right.
preserving
So
because it
No,
penetrates
but
in other areas.
I agree. But, now, in 10 or 15 years, they're going to do away with FM in this country. They're going to go digital like they did in Europe. That's going to be a sad day. It's still like an analog signal because you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
An analog signal is more robust. I mean, hey, if it's noisy, you hear noise, but at least you can make out what they're saying.
Yeah.
But with a digital signal, it's either there or gone.
Right, and you can pick it up for a fair distance too, analog signals. So there's no
absolutely,
comparison.
absolutely.
You should not give up one to have the other. But anyway, listen, we have to move on. We have to move on. But thanks so
The government
much.
is doing it because they want to make money.
Of course, that's what it's all about. That's always what it's about.
It's all corruption.
But great hearing from you. Let's continue this conversation in the future.
Okay, guys.
All right, be well. All right. I think we're pretty much out of time. Unless you guys want to take one more phone call. What do you say?
We did have someone request, is it too late to call? They asked. I said it depends on whether we're going to be taking another call after the previous one hangs up. So we do have a couple of people who do want to call in. And unless I miss my guest, we're going to not be doing overtime for the next little bit. I know
Yes.
we're not doing it next week.
Overtime is not on next week because we're doing the call in on WBAI, which means we only do the radio show and we take calls there. And then you guys are gone for the next month and we need you to do overtime. So not having you here means we can't do overtime. So for the 2 weeks after that, there won't be an overtime just because of that fact. And then the week after that, what we're doing is we're pulling the call-in show back a week because we sort of fell off a week. So it'll be on, I think, on the 15th of October. So we're going to have a second call-in show then, which means no overtime. So the next 4 weeks is not going to be an overtime. But the week after that, there's going to be super overtime. And we're going to do that.
So mark your calendars for
Yes.
October 22nd. When
Well,
overtime
then we
comes
should
up.
take the call then.
Well, I don't know if Kyle can't hear that, but there's an off the hook tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
That
so-
worked. And
Somebody hung up.
there's a regular caller.
Well, here's a regular call in now, so let's pick up and pick up quickly before they hang up.
Well, this is not a regular.
Are you going to pick up or not? Okay. Good evening. You're on Off the Hook Overtime. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to say what's up to Alex and Emmanuel. This is Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
Good, good.
Whoa, Jeremy, like the burnt
Hey, how
kid?
you doing?
Like who?
From the way back in the day, Jeremy?
Way, way back in the day.
Well, wait, everyone's from
We're
way
in
back in the
together.
day. What
Like
wait,
well, hold on. Is this the burnt kid?
Like 2,600 meetings, Emmanuel, when MOD and LOD used to be going to your meetings
okay.
back in the day.
Yeah, I remember you. Yep. Yeah.
I remember you too, Alex. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
You can remember somebody that easily just from a voice, Alex? That's incredible.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, what's new?
Crazy.
Just working in the VoIP world these days. I used to work in the TDM world, and that's been fun and whatever else. But I've been listening to your shows though, and that's pretty much it. I just wanted to say what's up to Alex, and I wanted to say what's up to you as well, Manuel. One time I gave you some manuals. It was when I was about between 14 and 16.
Uh-huh.
Some telecom manuals.
Do you need them
You
back?
found them very interesting.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, but I'm sure you don't remember me. But I went to a bunch of Hope meetings and whatever else back when you had Jello as one of your guests and whatever else. And
Uh-huh. I think, have you been on the 2600 Voice BBS?
no, I have not.
No, I'm saying, were you on it in the past?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, I think I recognize your voice from there. So, actually, those recordings are going to be up online pretty soon too. So, be prepared for a trip down memory lane.
Cool. Very cool.
Awesome. Well, good hearing from you.
So I just want to say what's up and hi. And Alex, by the way, thank you for introducing me to Tool back in the days when we were teenagers.
Yep, I remember, man. Yeah, it's good to hear your voice, Jeremy. It's been really a very, very long time. Glad to hear you're well, and very much appreciate you calling in and saying hey.
I'm glad you're doing well as well, and I'm glad you're doing well as well, Manuel. And you guys take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Good to hear your voice, Jeremy.
All right. Wow, call from the past. That's a great note to end on tonight. So
that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Wow, really, really cool to hear. I haven't heard his voice possibly in like close to 30 years.
But you instantly recognized him.
Yeah, I instantly recognized him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, I pulled out this credit card when the caller before was talking about Amex, because it's just something that annoys me. I have this American Express Optima Platinum card, and they have like this special club. Where was it, Kyle? Was that Seattle? Or was that Chicago?
Yeah, it was in SeaTac, I think.
SeaTac. They have. I think one of the airlines has this.
They're in a lot of airports. You see them at different airports.
It's for American Express Platinum card members.
Right.
I have an American Express Platinum card. It says it right here, but it's not the right Platinum. Because I even showed it to the guy. Said, "Oh no, not that." He laughed at my card, even though it says the exact word it's supposed to be. Like, for God's sake, Amex. Look, okay, if you want to, segregate the people and have only the upper crust show up to your stupid lounge, come up with a different word. Don't use the same word on a different card. Why do you Platinum? That's there's so many other words you could use. I can't think of any at the moment, but I know they're out there, and you could have used one and shared, spared us all the embarrassment.
I think they even had like a printout to clarify because it happens so frequently.
Yeah, he read from a script.
Yeah, there was like a laminated sheet that
just
described
this platinum card is not the same as the other platinum card. Please exit yourself.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was very
well. It was made to look like such an exclusive thing, and everybody's like lined up.
I don't care about your damn club.
Yeah. Well, it was more like I can get in there.
Yeah, so I get a free Coke. Wow.
You can have
break into this. You guys tried to break into the Centurion Lounge.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. One of them.
But it's it's called the Centurion Lounge, and all Amex cards have Centurions on them for some reason. But specifically, it says for platinum card holders, and my card says platinum card. It's a platinum card. Alex, can we take this to court?
It's not the platinum card.
What do you mean it's not the platinum card? I'm holding the platinum card in my wallet. That's the platinum card.
Is it the international currency card?
Well, that's not what they said. They said platinum card.
This is such a stupid.
Yeah, but I didn't start
it. Definitely is. I'm with you, Kyle.
Well, it's like
Alex, why are you showing us your credit card? We now have all your numbers.
Well, no, you don't, because it's an American Express Platinum card where the numbers are on the back.
Oh, they thought of everything. They're clever.
Yeah, I know. This is the real Platinum card here. I actually went to that Centurion Lounge like a week and a half ago, and I was flying back from South Bend, Indiana, through Atlanta, and I was on a different airline than I usually take, so I used that lounge. And I got to tell you, once I finally got into it, it actually was pretty nice.
Oh yeah, tell us.
I was impressed with it in Atlanta, at least. In other places I haven't been, and I usually use the the airline lounge. But the thing that really annoyed the absolute fucking shit out of me was I showed up. I had to go to a different terminal in the Atlanta airport to get to this place, and I didn't have that much time. But I was like, oh, let me go check it out. So I go over there, and they're at capacity, so they're not letting anybody in to the lounge.
Is there a line though?
There's a line, and you can sign up through a QR code to be on the wait list.
And there's a bouncer at the front of the line saying you can
go in. There is
a
bouncer at the front of the line, like a small little Asian lady who's very officious, and she so she directs me to the QR code. So I go to the QR code. It opens up a web page, like everything's normal, right? And then you have to log into your American Express account.
In an airport, you have to log into your Amex account. That's smart.
Exactly. and then I couldn't figure out what the login and password was, and I had to do a password reset. But it went to this old account, so I spent like 15 minutes trying to get into the American Express account, and then I said, I'm just going to go up to this woman and ask her if I'm having trouble with the QR code. Can she just put me on the wait list? And what do you think she said?
Who are you?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
She just looked at me and said, "Oh, of course I can. Here, put you on right here." And then it was like 5 minutes. I had to wait till I got in.
See, it was Alex, fine. This points to a problem that you have, where you make things more difficult than they need to be.
That's right. Well, I am a lawyer.
But yeah, I'm looking at my card now. My number is on the front, and so you're saying if you get the much more elite platinum card you have, your number's on the back. That is worth it alone, right there.
Yeah, the number's on the back,
wow.
And yeah.
I have a co-branded platinum Amex, and my numbers are on the back.
What kind of platinum do you have?
I have a platinum Delta Sky Miles card.
Does that? Oh, it's got the airline on it. For God's sakes, you can't use the airport lounge.
See, that could probably get into 2 lounges, like a Delta lounge and an Amex.
It should get you into something.
I don't have lounge access.
Oh,
really? Huh.
You have to have the Delta Reserve card to get lounge.
I thought you had to have the platinum card. That's what they told me.
The Amex Platinum card, but mine's co-branded.
If you have neat ways of hacking or otherwise sneaking your way into exclusive lounges in all forms of transportation, please write us at oth@2600.com.
I think your use of the word exclusive is rather liberal there. Alex, tell us, what was it like inside the lounge, since you're the only person that made it?
Yeah, it was actually quite nice. At least in the Atlanta lounge, there was a little outdoor area where you could sit as well. The food was pretty good, although not really varied. But it was kind of crowded. It was really quite crowded. I feel like just the best benefits of these places are to just sit down somewhere, like out of the fray in a comfortable spot. Doesn't matter exactly where it is, but just sit, charge your phone, relax for a few minutes. And so it was fine for that.
And, if you're careful, you can get really inebriated for not a lot of money.
I suppose.
Yes.
All right. The Amtrak Lounge in New York City, I recommend that. That's quite nice. They let us into that. If you have first-class train accommodations or a sleeper car, they let you into that.
I'll be in a lounge tomorrow night. I'll be in the British Airways lounge in JFK.
All right. So people, if you want to meet up with Alex, that's you got to buy a ticket on British Airways, and that's your ticket to Alex.
And see you in the lounge around 10. Yep.
We're going to be at Moynihan Train Hall next week.
Okay, Moynihan is definitely worth the lounge. So
we are Acela-ing it next week.
So Acela, I think you get access to the lounge. I'm pretty sure you do.
Do you?
I would check that. Well, I mean, it's all business class or first class, right? But if you do have access, arrive like a 45 minutes early so that you can hang out there. And the food is free, and it's really cool.
Just want to buy banana pudding. That's really all I want to do.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. And guys, we won't see you for another month. So
it's true. Yep. So hack the planet, gang.
Yeah, Rob, do you want to announce the October meetings now?
Yeah, mark your calendars for 2.5 weeks from now when there will be a 2600 meeting.
Yeah. All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Please write to us, oth@2600.com, as Kyle said. And we will be back on WBAI next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for a call-in show. We will not be here for overtime next week, the week after that, or the week after that, because we'll be doing another call-in show on WBAI then. But the week after that, we will be back. So we'll see you then. Good night.